But even with the job, all I know was that I was able to pay my bills,
Yeah.
and I wasn't able to truly do the other things that I would want to do out of life. And so I started off selling candy, two and three, penny candy and nickel candy. Then we had a little store in our house, as you remember. And then I went from that to selling little nickel and dime bags of weed. And then from that to ounces to pounds.
Welcome to Big Guy Journey, where I stand on faith, fitness, family, finance, and freedom. When I say freedom, I'm talking freedom of the mind, because the journey starts in your thoughts. Let's go. What's up, guys? It's your boy Big Guy Journey, and I'm sitting here with my mother, Eileen. Many know her as Eileen, some know her as Big Mama, Mama Williams, all these different names. I just know her as Mama. What's up, Mama?
Hey.
So look, I wanted to do this episode here because I think that a lot of times these kind of talks aren't really publicized or highlighted, but you know what I'm saying. Me and my whole family, we try to live a more transparent life. We're not ashamed of the things that went on in our past. Because of the Lord we serve, we've all grew and we've learned from our mistakes, and so we just want to be real transparent and open here, and we're going to get into a conversation. So my last post, I put up a post and I said that adversity fosters resiliency. And I truly believe that to be the case. I think that, you know what I mean, when you see people go through adversity, when you see people that oftentimes you see people go through the hardest things, those people are usually the ones able to overcome many other things. And so let's say, you know, if you get to a certain level of success and then you fall off. You know what I mean? You're not going to go commit suicide because you've already seen the lows of the lows. You know what I'm saying? And so we come from my mother being a single mother of two to begin with, and then she ended up having my younger sister when I was like 11. So we grew up in the projects, and we saw just about everything. You know, we've experienced some of everything. My mother actually used to hustle, you know what I'm saying? And so we're going to get into that as well. When I say hustle, I'm talking about she was out there in them streets, y'all. She was out there slanging.
Lord forgive me.
And so, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that we saw. And I don't know, let's keep going, getting dark. But a lot of things that we saw, but it really helped us to be the stronger individuals that we are today. So
Yeah.
we're gonna get right on into it. So the first thing I want to ask my mother is, you know, how was it being a single mother? Like, what's your whole thoughts on being a single mother?
It was a struggle. Um, I think I always look back at I didn't have my mother to fall back on. And that really makes a difference if you don't have a strong support system as you taking your journey. I had my sisters, but of course they had their own families, and most of them had moved away. And so I had to defend for myself, and a lot of things I did from being taught by my dad, who was a single father, most of my life, because my mom died when I was 4, and so he raised us, the best that he could. And it was a struggle, but we survived.
Yeah. Now, when you say single father, I know my granddaddy was a single father for a while, but he remarried, right?
Yeah.
Right, and so you had a mother figure, but you just didn't have your original mother.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Sweet. And so when you said that single motherhood was difficult, I know early on it was just me and your other daughter, Kayla. Like, what were some of the struggles? Like, what made it difficult? Like, what are some of the things you think made it difficult?
Not knowing um how to survive other than hustling. Um, didn't have the knowledge that I have now. Even with Christ. because that plays a big part of it too.
Mhm. So, and I know you just talked about hustling. That was something I was going to come into later, but I know that one of the things that when you said hustling, you used to sell drugs, right? And with this being all the way transparent here, so I know we've always known you to be a hustler ever since we were younger. You know what I mean? And I mean, quite frankly, I never saw anything wrong with it because that's what I saw all growing up.
Mhm.
So when you say doing what you had to do, um, do you feel like you were put in a situation uh, where you had to do that in order to survive, like to just to make money, or what do you mean by doing what you had to do?
Well, I always had a job, a 9 to 5, or not 9 to 5, but 7 to 7.
Yeah,
But even with the job, all I know was that I was able to pay my bills,
yeah,
and I wasn't able to truly do the other things that I would want to do out of life. And so I started off selling candy, 2 and 3, penny candy and nickel candy. Then we had a little store in our house, as you remember. And then I went from that to selling little nickel and dime bags of weed, and then from that to ounces to pounds.
yeah,
I never did drugs like the big white stuff
yeah, yeah.
or pills, but I did do what the community was looking for and had a need of.
Right, right. And you know what I'm saying, when you say that, I remember that so vividly. And in fact, in my book that I'm writing, Trade Product of the Culture, I talk about how one of the things that you did was that you actually showed us. You took us to Sam's Club. You took us to different places and showed us how to buy all of these different candies at a discounted rate and come back and sell it. And one of our highest selling things was something called Ices.
Yeah.
And Ices was just the frozen Kool-Aid that we put in the freezer, and we put a little gummy bear or some gum or something in the inside. And then like we just have children coming all up to our house. You know what I'm saying? Knock, knock, knock. Can I get an icy 25 cents, 50 cents? You know what I'm saying? And then we had the chips. We had all these different things. And so one of the things when I talk about in that book is that we learn all the aspects of being an entrepreneur without you even really realizing that you were teaching us entrepreneurship. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you said, okay, I'm going to show you how to do this and how you do this inventory, but we were actually doing inventory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same thing when you look at a lot of different people in the hood, because what happens with the drug game is because you were in the drug game, and so you were operating that business while we were operating this business, right?
Yeah.
But eventually I end up transitioning to the drug game too. And you know what I'm saying, when you didn't do certain things, I went a little further and did other things. But one of the things that I identified, that you know what I mean, that this is pretty much the same as the game that we were doing, the things that we were doing as far as a store. You know what I mean? This was all entrepreneurship. And so once I got older and my paradigm shifted, and I gained a relationship with God, I started to look at the fact that all of those principles that I learned early on, I mean, I could implement them into legal things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think that you instilled a lot of things in us early on that you wasn't even aware that you were instilling entrepreneurship, but you actually were.
Yeah.
One of the mentors that I listen to often is Jim Rome, and he says, I teach children how to have two bikes, one to ride and one to rent, right? And so it's just like, I mean, it just came back full circle, right? And so all of those principles, those things come natural to me now, but at the time I didn't know that it was. I didn't realize what was happening, and so I'm happy you touched on that, because I think that a lot of parents may have done things that they're not proud of. And they may be doing things right now that they're not proud of, but these things will stick with your children for the rest of their lives. And so I think that a lot of the people that's like stuck in the hood and stuff like that, All they need to really understand is that they could take all of those same principles that they've been living by, and they could actually go legit, and they could have massive success.
Yeah.
Because they already know the game. They already have a certain amount of resiliency. They have already had so much adversity that just the getting the nose and stuff is not going to hurt them as much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's real good. That's deep too.